Hi. So now let us see very important constraint. Most of the tables definitely going to have that. So that is actually the primary key. Okay. So what is the primary key? So this is very simple one. First of all, whatever required for this, we already seen as a different constraints actually. So let us try to understand. So this constraint is to identify each record very importantly uniquely. So every record must be unique actually. That means no duplicate values. So no duplicate records are not allowed actually. So if duplicates are there, it is unnecessarily taking more amount of memory, right? So that is why to avoid the duplicates, okay, we are going to have a primary key actually. Of course, that is unique constraint is also there, but we are saying through entire record actually. Okay. Now, what is mainly primary key? So this is very important that unique, so unique constraint separately we see and not null separately we see. So these two together is going to become the primary key. Very important thing. So under unique column, you may have null values. Under not null column, you may have duplicate values. But together, no null value, no duplicate, together going to become the primary key. So in that way, it is ensuring that there is no duplicates in the table actually, in the entity. Okay. So a table can have at most one primary key, at most one primary key. So very important. That means less than or equal to one primary key, number of primary keys. So that means either you may have primary key, may not have primary key. If you have a primary key, only one it is allowed actually. Okay. So that is also very important. Now, if you see the syntax, so how you can create a primary key? So you can see as usually column name and it's a data type. After that, following that, you have a key, you have a keyword primary key actually. So that it is going to define this particular column as a primary key. So under column one, whatever values you are allowing, all are unique. There is no duplicate values and no null values actually, basing on this simple thing. Okay. So now let us see with the hands-on session, same thing. Okay. So here, if you see in this table, so this is the student table, and let us take one more column. So age column, let us take it as a int. Now, this is the table actually. So here each student which may have the unique actually, first name may be names may be repeated. So that is why first and last name you cannot take it as a primary key. Age also definitely in one class, all of them may have same age actually. Okay. So that is what duplicates are allowed under age. So roll number must be unique and every student must have a roll number. So that means nulls are not allowed. So try to understand every student must have a unique roll number. That is why it is unique. And at the same time, every student must have a roll number. That means nulls are not allowed. So that is why you can take roll number as a primary key. So what we are doing is we are going to take primary key here. So let us check that it may be created earlier. So let us run first of all drop student table. Yes, so it is dropping. Now let us go for the creation of this table. Now if you see, if I try to run this script, so student table is going to create. Now you can see the table is created. Okay, student table is created where roll number is primary key. So what we will do is, let us refresh this. So you have a student table now. So if you come here, you see in this thing, columns, of course, whatever columns we created here, the main thing is come to index part actually. So this we will more elaborate when we are discussing the indexes. But the time being, you can see we didn't created explicitly any index here, but for the primary key, it is going to create the index automatically. Okay, what is index, for what purpose you are creating an index, and why it is creating an index on primary key automatically? those things we will more detailed discussion we are going to have when we are discussing the indexes actually. Okay, so here you can observe that primary key, whatever you created, that is coming under automatically indexes part also. Okay, so that is what the one thing. Now if you try to insert the data under this particular table, so insert into table student values of. Okay, so for example roll number 10 I taken, then name is Ravi, and then Kumar, then age for example 20. Now if I run this script, what is going to happen? One record is going to be inserted. So let us see that. So one row is inserted. Now what we will do is, now here select the star from student. Okay, so if I run this script, so you can see that one record you are able to see in the output. Now what we will do, we will try to insert one more record here. So let us take the same line. Now here let us take this as a 11, then with a different name Kishore, and of course age assume same. Now if I run this one, so another record is inserted. Now if I run this select star, so you can see two records. Now what we will try to do is, one thing is we will change the name Thomas, some hugs, okay, then age for example 20. So what is your observation here? So this roll number is already there in the data, so that means it should not allow actually. Okay, so let us see that part. So you can see here duplicate entry 11 for the key student.primary. So that means we already given that this roll number as a primary key. So that is why values under this roll number column must be unique. That is why it is not allocating. So that is why it is not allowing to insert duplicate entry, it is saying. So that means it is performing unique job perfectly. Now after that, what we will do is we will try to enter the null value in that place. So is it going to allow the null values or not? Let us try to observe that also. That means not null. So if I run this script, now again you can see column roll number cannot be null. So that is what we discussed, right? It must be unique and nulls are not allowed. So that is what you can see both the things here. So this and this, if you observe, this is not allocated, this is not allowing the duplicate values and not allowing the null values. Okay, so that is what mainly try to understand the primary key. So under which column you mentioned the primary key, so that under that particular column values must be unique and nulls are not allowed. Okay, that is one thing, and only one primary key is allowed maximum for any table actually. Now what we will do is, this is one way of defining the primary key. So if I am dropping this table, now not only in this way you can define the primary key, you can define the primary key even at the end of the table also. So after defining all the columns, explicitly you can mention primary key of what is the column you want to mention as a primary key. So roll number, okay. So even in this way also it is going to allow the primary key actually. So even if I run this script, so you can see that table is created. Okay, now if you see again data, of course data is not there. Now what we will do is we will try to insert this particular data. Then if I run, so one row is inserted. Now you can see this one. So that is one thing actually. Now what is going to happen is this primary key automatically one default name it is going to give actually. Okay, so primary every constraint, if you don't mention the explicitly the constraint name, then system is automatically going to give actually with the table name dot primary. So like that it is going to give actually. Okay, so that part we will see separately, that how to give the constraint for any constraint name actually. So in this lecture, so we understand that what is primary key, how many primary keys are allowed, and what kind of values it is going to allow if any column have a primary key. Okay.